Well, there's going to be a problem anyways in a few more months. The utilities could have come and redo the
Well, I
whole,
know, that's a problem.
yeah. I think,
We have quorum.
yeah,
Fred did your vote today and everything, look at that.
we're all here.
Except, Mike still has a vacation. Okay. Ready to go, guys? All right, Charlie, you're carrying the freight for upstairs?
I guess so, yeah.
Wow.
You're it, huh?
This for the staff. Huh?
All right, let's call the Board of Public Work Capital Assets meeting to order for April 12th. Roll call.
Gil's here.
Guzikowski is here. Richard's here.
Super here.
Segal here. All righty. Approval of minutes from 3/8/22.
Seifert moves to approve the minutes of 3/8/22.
Just a heads up.
By 9:30.
I'll second that.
I'm shooting.
Sweet.
All right.
That's a little aggressive, but we'll see.
Possible. Pretty thin. Alrighty, informational, do we have anything for common council?
We do out of engineering, Alderman Guzzi. The PPI project that was approved and by council and contracts were signed has been delayed by a few months. What we're trying to do, we're going to try to accomplish getting in touch with more residents to try to get more of a people to participate in the project versus 50%. We're probably trying to look at 75. MMSD has also been witnessing some contractor, I guess, hesitation on bidding. So they're receiving one bid maybe on projects or no bids. So we think by kind of delaying, get some more information, trying to get more participation, we'll probably get a better, hopefully a better contractor turnout. So that's just wanted to inform you, but we're still working towards it. Have a meeting set up next couple of weeks to begin the process.
That our call,
It was a joint call. It kind of came from MMSD as a potential option. We asked to explore it some more, and we were able to do that through the funding and everything and be able to work through it.
Does the district turn around and just issue those contracts by community, or is it for all the communities when they're putting
I
up?
think it's per project, so it would be per community. So we're one separate project. We're estimated to be about $500,000 worth of work, maybe a little bit more depending on unit prices. But at this point, that's what our funding and our request was for.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else on information? Number 5, consider a motion to enter in agreement with William Reed and Associates.
So this is for our sludge pump replacement. Those are original sludge pumps. They pump out all the sludge from our settling basins to the sewer, which goes to MMSD. We get charged by MMSD based on the hour runtime and assumed capacity of the pump. But over the years, those pumps don't pump to that capacity any longer. However, we're still getting charged at that rate. So we'd like to renew the pumps and bring them back up to their performance level so that we're getting charged appropriately for that. The bid here actually was really good because we can save the casting of the pump. We just have to replace the impeller, the check valves, and then we're adding limit switches on the check valves so that we don't run the pumps dry. So we know when they're stopping to run. It's actually a huge improvement on that tiny little feature. $25,090.80.
So the housings were
Okay.
reasonable, not corroded to heck.
Correct, yeah, and not wore away. I mean, that sludge, when they came and looked at it, sludge pumps are used on the wastewater side quite a bit and usually wear out a lot faster than these, but the sludge that we have is just lake settlement. It's really not gritty, so they hold fairly well.
So Mike, did you have to pull the whole pump out and inspect it?
Yeah, the top was pulled apart, in order to inspect it, yes. Yeah, we had two different groups there for all day, each group, in order to identify what they could do with the pump and what it would cost.
Thank you.
Seems like we're getting the best of all worlds there with pulling it apart and doing what you're doing. So yeah, it's putting a switch on there too. It's good.
Oh, it's gonna be huge.
And got a motion on that one, guys?
Yeah, Gail moved to, enter into an agreement with William Reed and Associates to replace the sludge pump impellers and check valves in the amount of $25,090.80.
Seifert seconds.
Gail, sorry.
Yep, go ahead. Guzekowski, aye.
Richards, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Sigali, aye.
Number 6, consider a motion to enter into an agreement for Shan's Roofing to replace the low-lit pump station.
Yeah, so the low-lift pump station roof has not been replaced in over 30 years. It's not had any kind of major work to it in over 30 years. We're not really sure. We think it could be closer to original, actually. It's had some repair work done. It leaks on the east side of it. That's peeling paint on the inside of the building as well. We've done some patching and tried to carry it along as far as we can. It's at its end of life for sure. So Mike went out and got a couple of bids on this, and they're all fairly close together. We've had this company, Trans Roofing, do work for us before. We're comfortable with their work, so this will be a new rubber roof on the whole pump station, $49,000. 49,000, yeah. Yep.
No problem.
Any questions?
No?
Richards will move approval of item 6 as listed.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call.
Gail, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Richards, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Sigali, aye.
Alrighty, number 7, consider a motion to approve the final payment for completion of the booster station flow meter. Is that you?
Yes, it is, correct. So that flow meter at Janet has been drifting and not reading accurately for quite some time. Again, it was end of life, so it was time to replace it. We did. The amplifier for the meter was installed incorrectly. They blew that up. The contractor came back, blew up the second one for sort of a different reason, came back again, and it wasn't scaled to our SCADA system, so we still couldn't read it. Finally, all of that is resolved. It's reading correctly and accurately, and so we ready to close this out and pay them the final payment for $10,008.
What was the full number?
Oh, great question. I thought it was like 22,000.
Oh.
I don't know 100% though.
Still.
I don't think he has that in here.
Mhm.
Well, as long as it's working, right?
Right,
And it's linked to the radio system.
which is getting replaced today, as a matter of fact. They're up there replacing the radio system. So, yeah. Yeah, that station will be fully operational and read at the plant on a routine basis.
Good news.
Richards will move to approve item 7 as listed.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call.
Gail, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Richards, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Sigali, aye.
Alrighty, number 8, consider a motion to approve a progress payment for sanitary rehab.
Yep, so this is our sanitary rehab project. We're all over the city doing some spot lining, some full length lining, some spot repairs, some lateral testing, or as it results of the main or the main connection. And this contract is complete. They're all done with the work that they're doing there. And that total is $15,522.55.
Like, they didn't have any remediation of doing, landscape repairs or stuff like that.
Anything that they did disturb has been restored. Yes.
Richards will move item 8 as listed.
Roll call.
Gil's aye.
Oh, second, it, yeah, roll call.
Seifert, second.
You got it, Fred?
I got it.
All right.
I'm just trying to cover, okay.
Roll call.
Gil's aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Richards, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Sigali, aye.
All righty, number 9.
Just thought we'd get you into
Consider a motion to approve utility vouchers.
okay.
Wise one. At the plant. Yeah, that's you, Sully. Obie's not here, but down at the plant. What is this? This is page 19. Superior Chemical. Insect repellent.
Yep.
Is that for like regular bugs with, you know, inside the plant?
Yes, that's actually, for the distribution. So mosquito repellent, that sort of thing, we buy it in bulk, can save on that, and then the guys, you know, aren't gonna get hit when they're out flushing or walking remote mains or
I
whatever.
guess I'm just not used to mosquitoes, yeah.
Yeah, right? And that price too.
Bad down there?
Quite a lot.
Are they that bad down there?
Well, throughout the city, so this is for the distribution guys walking around.
Okay.
Spend away. Right?
Yes.
More motion on that?
Sure.
Seifert moves to approve the utility vouchers for payment in the amount of $727,259.26.
Richards will second.
Roll call.
Gil's aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Richards, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Sigali, aye.
Alrighty, number 10, informational administration and operations.
I actually don't think I have a whole lot to highlight. We're still growing on water sales for this year compared to last year, so that's good. Engineering's got a lot of their projects are gonna be out for bid, are out for bid actually, but are gonna be out for bid in April here. The Centennial Sewer Relay, the Susan Water, and the Forestdale Manor Water Main Relay, those are all out for bid now.
You get any, feedback early on?
Not yet. They really just went out, so they've only been out a short time. Be curious to see how many contractors we have. We hope we have a lot, and we hope they're not too expensive. Yeah, other than that, so Lakeshore Commons is a little bit of note. We're having a few problems down there. The contractor did not line up the valves for the water main portion of the project, and now they're telling us they're 4 months out. So we're scrambling, looking at other valves. We actually are allowing a valve that we previously did not approve in the city in order to try and keep the project moving along. What we don't want is 4 of those, 7 of those, and 10 of those over in that development down there, but it kind of seems that's what we're gonna get. So we're trying, Brian's evaluating now, some mechanical joint valves as opposed to push joint valves. Mechanical joint have more corrosion issues because they're a bolted connection. But if that's all they got, and we gotta get that project rolling, that may end up where it's gonna be. And to me, this falls squarely on the contractor who didn't order the parts, but it is what it is. We're the ones left holding the bag. So that's the news on that.
Mike, what's the cost of those things?
Each valve is about $1,700. But you just can't get them.
Yeah.
So,
We're just talking if you got a retro.
yeah,
But the average life on that, once you got them in the ground is what?
50 years. Unless they corrode.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had problems in under 5 years, but, you know, we would expect it to last a long time.
Well, we don't have much experience in that kind of soil, right?
Exactly, yeah, we're not really sure what to expect down there.
All valid point.
Yeah, we're hoping the corrosion potential is lower there, but we really don't.
Are they doing anything special with the infrastructure there in the ground and in the capped areas or?
No. So we have,
Problem though, right?
yes, we have changed, everything's all epoxy coated, the bodies, we have changed the full stainless steel bolts on everything, so that should significantly help. Brian was just reviewing this morning a new zinc cap. And I don't know why, it's been in the bolting industry forever, that these just thread onto the end of the bolt to provide that sacrificial anode. Instead of going through some big rigmarole, you're putting a bolted connection on, you spin a bunch of these on, you're good to go. So it's another way of extending life a little bit.
Mike, while you're talking about Lakeshore Commons, on that engineering operations report, it says sewer pack approved the PEC amendment. What is that?
That's the primary environmental corridor.
Oh, okay.
So a portion of that was primary environmental corridor, and that got traded for some other locations. That was a big effort.
Yeah, that's a big effort that's still forthgoing. DNR is actually reviewing it at this point in time for the amendment to approve it administratively.
And I think still negotiating with the county for.
Well, that's another side story. In regards to right of entry and land utilization for future extension of the sanitary to the south and for grading purposes to improve Lake Vista Boulevard. We're currently kind of working more, I guess the critical path is the right of entry for Lake Vista to keep that moving forward, but the land utilization is still in our forefront. We're still working forward.
Seems like they're busy down there.
Oh, yeah.
Very, yeah. They're progressing pretty well, especially with the given weather and the site conditions.
I see a lot of the water pipe out there. Looks like they're trying to put it in.
Yeah, they're currently working on water. Probably 90+% of the sanitary is in. So their main focus right now is water.
Really?
And that probably will be completed within the next few weeks. And then right on the storm. So.
Mike, I have a quick question on Forest Hill Manor. How's that project coming?
That's coming along really well. It's out for bid right now. So we'll see what we get for contractors. We were talking about some connection points here a week or so ago down at Groveland, how to the best way to make that connection over there with the least impact. So I think we've got a good project. It's going to be a difficult project with some directional drills, some open cuts throughout there. There's not a lot of room to work. But yeah, it's out for bid right now.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be really telling to see how bids come back this year, because I'm hearing grief all over town with stuff, lack of supplies.
Yes. We're a little worried about schedule on some of these.
I noticed that we blew out the water main there on Rawson again.
Yeah, that was right at the time of our last meeting, so I mentioned it then. There's significant corrosion holes or corrosion hits in that main. We mentioned the high pressure gas that's here. That's elevated. It was one of the top mains to replace in the near future. It's elevating itself to, we need to do this next year kind of a thing. So yeah, that's a bad one. The good news is we can shut that main off and not affect service. No customer goes out. What it does is it takes a main run out to Janet Booster Station out of service. So we don't like to take it out of service because that reduces the water that gets to Janet, but we can take it out and isolate it. So in this case, it could be out for 3 days. It's not really it doesn't inconvenience any customers. So, but I suspect that this is going to show up on the CIP proposal for next year.
Yeah, it's
Mike,
getting close.
what happened in Forest Hill and Howell Avenue?
Water main break. Where it came up through the asphalt is where it was dug first. Turns out that the hole is actually 33 feet east of that location. All the water was coming up through the asphalt at that spot and almost nothing further east. So this has got to be where it is, and that wasn't where it is. Those guys, we got notified about 4 o'clock. They worked until 7 o'clock the next morning working on that water main break. So yeah, it was kind of difficult. It was a shear, which often happens on the cast iron, but it was a shear right underneath the service saddle for that strip mall that's right there.
Yeah.
So the repair sleeves that we have for that vintage pipe aren't full seals. Well, we had one, but wasn't easily accessible, a full seal, and you can't use a half seal on a shear since it's broken all the way around. So we had to kind of scramble to get that to work. It was a little difficult working with the lateral right there as well, so yeah. And the second hole, because of all the rain last week, was so wet, there's no way we could do temporary concrete or cold patch or anything on it, so we've just left it barricaded and let it dry out. We're going to put temporary concrete in there and leave that, since all of that's getting ripped up next year when that water main project is underway. So that water main project was supposed to occur 2 years ago, and then got delayed to this year, but we didn't want to do it when Drexel Avenue was at work done, so we delayed it again until next year. We almost made it.
Good try.
It's early.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's graffiti. Driving him nuts. That's all you hear about.
Oh, yeah?
Water rain on how.
Yeah.
That is pet peeve.
Well, it'll really be a pet peeve when we start constructing, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's about it, sir.
Yeah.
I think it was nice to see that there was low variability in the water temperatures too, so
Yeah,
that helps with the.
it absolutely does, starts to stabilize, yep.
Anything else on the administrative or operations reports?
Not for me, sir.
Anyone? Okay. Alrighty then. Number 11, consider a motion to accept the request to establish a no parking zone on the east side of Eagle Summit Drive.
Morning, everyone. This kind of came forward with the development that is going to be occurring on the west side of of Summit. That's a 4 multifamily building. We're in the middle of doing development agreements and such. One of the issues we were concerned about was the parking of visitors and overflow parking from the apartments onto Summit and having an egress problem with the PD being there. So we're trying to be a little proactive here. We spoke with the captain and the chiefs, and at this time they requested that the no parking be placed on the east side. It would, would not prevent proper egress in any kind of emergency situation. So that is what we're requesting at this time.
How are you guys thinking about, you gonna do those right away, the signs on that, Matt, or,
Yeah, I think.
the construction crews there are gonna have someplace to meet, they're gonna meet in the park. So unless the cops allow them to use the parking lot, then.
Well, they'll still have the ability to park on the west side of Summit. And in all theory, they should be providing their crews an adequate set down spot and place to park on their site. We're kind of working through the logistics on everything, but that is one of the points that we've made to them and the developer, which has made them rethink their strategy moving forward. I mean, if it comes down to it, there is excess parking, generally speaking, throughout the day. So we could work with the PD if it came down to that, but my first notion is not to.
I just, see the pile of cars that are down at the lakefront during the day.
Yeah, I think the initial start we're gonna see here is mainly grading, and footings and foundations. So it's gonna be a pretty limited amount of crews. You're not gonna probably see you're not gonna see 3 or 4 crews like you're seeing down at Lakeshore Commons. That's about what they're running right now.
Is that all zone residential?
Where's that?
Right west of the PD.
Yeah, that was rezoned for multifamily.
multi-family.
Yeah, under a PUD. So that was approved by a plan commission.
Well, that was all county property.
That was swapped.
That's being farmed just to the south of that property, and Farmington is still owned by the county. So there is a section that's still out there that's owned by the county. It's just south of this property and south of the PD.
well, the property at the PD cost me a pork chop sandwich at the restaurant on Howland Boulevard with County Exec Damon.
Yeah,
That's the cost.
that's a good deal.
I think a pork chop sandwich and a couple cigarettes.
Whatever it took, right?
Yeah. Close the deal.
You're easy.
He was working on his retirement packet Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Richards will move to approve item number 11 as listed.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call.
Gil's eye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Richards, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Sealy, aye.
Before we jump too far on item 10, go back. DOT grants that, didn't get any approvals for any grant awards. But what did we submit for? Any idea, you guys?
Well, post this report being done, we were actually notified that we did receive a grant for bridge construction under the local bridge improvement.
Oh, wow.
So the old Essentia, or is it Essentia? The old, the spice factory up on 6th Street.
Oh, spot, yeah.
That little box culvert, the box culvert there, that is actually at the point of insufficient, is what they call it, insufficient ratings. It has been posted for a weight, I think 25 tons. We were awarded that project, so we're kind of working through agreements on that one. As far as STP grants, we were not awarded anything. We've been discussing the new bill act and funding. We've been discussing with the department and Sewer PAC, who basically awards those projects or recommends awards. We're still going to put our existing applications that we put in that were rejected into those in hopes that we do receive some funding, but all right, initial discussions do not point in a positive manner, we'll say, for getting awarded that. There's a number of communities and counties that are much further along and have much greater needs than we do. So we're probably going to be seeing those be rejected also on our end.
Gotta be buying more pork chop sandwiches.
Yeah. I think they're asking for steaks now.
That was Foreign Spice. That was a
Yeah.
woman that owned that place.
Yep. So that's where we got that. We are looking at also probably, initially in the next near future, looking at a rehabilitation, through the bill for the one that's right by the Little League. More of like a superstructure replacement, just a deck. We actually meet the criteria for that. We just have to go through some studies and prepare that document. So there'll be another one we'll be trying to get.
That's our list.
Absolutely. Yes.
And we only have a local share.
Yes, it'll be an 80-20 split.
Cheap.
Yeah, in the long run, it is very cheap. I guess since we're discussing one note, Drexel Avenue, you're gonna start seeing towards the end of the month, construction happening and being brought up on that, stretch between 13th and Howell. The westbound lanes will be actually closed and detoured while they work on those, and eastbound lanes will be fully open in one direction. We'll have a message board out there within the next week or so, probably 7 days prior to it actually starting. They have 6 weeks to do that, and then they'll be flipping traffic over. So they're gonna hit it pretty quick. Our bids and our awards in that were, well, within probably 5% of our estimates, which was put in 5 years ago. So pretty happy with what we came out with.
Cool.
So that'll be happening very shortly. And then Rawson Avenue, the county's handling between 20th and 27th. That should be occurring around the same time. That will not be detoured. That will be open to traffic.
Matt, do we have a timetable on that?
Which one, Rawson
Started
or
with-
Drexel?
No, I'm talking on 13th Street East.
Oh, for Drexel Avenue from 13th. Yeah, we're probably April 25th is tentatively the time for construction to start, where you'll start seeing lane closures.
Okay.
It'll be happening this month. Hopefully, we'll keep crossing our fingers.
Didn't the pump on Drexel take a dump or something, or was that check valve or
Check
something?
valves, yeah,
Put a couple Band-Aids out there.
that's, yep, exactly.
We'll wait till next year. Okay,
Any other questions?
no,
All right, number 12, consider a motion to accept no parking on Mayhew.
This is kind of a prelude to a larger issue that's happening throughout the city. One of the issues we've been seeing probably in the last year or so, not sure if it's, due to COVID or operation changes or, the increase in warehousing and freighting we have throughout the city. But we're starting to witness on some of our roads, especially ones that have the truck routes, we're starting to see more parking of tractor and trailers throughout those areas. So we're seeing this not only during the day, but we're seeing it overnight. This weekend, we did witness them dropping off a trailer and leaving it on Mayhew. So it's not, it's becoming an issue, not only for one, aesthetics, two, deterioration of our roadway. It's also becoming a vision issue or just the general traffic. So this was brought forward to us by not only one alderman, but two, and also the PD. So we have multiple points of interest in trying to reduce the amount of parking along Mayhew. So what we did, just to give you a quick background, we did look through the our design manuals, not only ours, but Wisconsin Department of Transportation's. We looked at the zoning, just to make sure that we're kind of following our zoning. So this is all zone B4. So being commercial, we require under our zoning that all businesses have off parking accommodations. No on-street are allowed to be counted towards their needs. So at this point, those businesses along there do not need the parking. This is more to satisfy, from what I can find in our back history, was accommodating students. We have spoken with Andrew Cromie, finance director of the school district. Their parking is full at this point. They are willing to probably open up some potentially more spots around the new parking area that they did over by the performing arts area, but they did not give me an amount. So it is our recommendation at engineering to eliminate parking as a whole along the entire corridor, just to not give us any inclination on who can park where and what. It's gonna be tough to limit parking for trucks and then not cars. So it's better just to blanket cover it. There are also some other issues as far as site. You can see that in the example that we provided. That site was based on a 30-mile-an-hour design speed, a single unit vehicle, so like your box truck, and we actually minimized everything. So we didn't even use the desirables, we used minimums. And we went off of the driving lanes and not the parking lanes. So we tried to minimize and to create as much parking as possible. But our recommendation at this point is let's just cut it dry and clean and eliminate it all. Now we could do this in phases. We can do from Pick and Save to the south all the way to Centennial for now, where it's trucking route, and then after school district or school done in June, then eliminate it entirely, just to still provide and not confuse those students at this time, and just make it very clear to the school board and the school that our intentions, if that's what you choose to do. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of eliminating parking there right now. Pick and Save south, the driving south would be a good compliment.
For the time, are we looking just to do it till school's
I'm
out?
not sure that, this is one of the city, I think it's a city issue rather than just the high school is there and it's not going anywhere.
No, and I think, one of our other concerns was we were trying to reduce you know, as we look forward, I mean, obviously there was that horrific accident that occurred. We did implement some of the signs and try to add some of the safety features. Pick and Save has tried as well as they can to eliminate those students parking in their parking lot. But I think the reduction of students parking on the other side, south side of Pewitz, if we can do our, you know, our part in trying to eliminate that and getting them parking on and within the parking, to reduce that potential conflict of students crossing there. That was one of our thoughts. So, I mean, we're, and, you know, for one, clearly we need to reduce or eliminate it so the trucks don't park there. I mean, that's just an issue that I don't think we want aesthetically through there, or on the infrastructure. And that was never the intention. So I guess we're looking at it in that aspect, but, you know, we're obviously open to
But it,
compromise.
Rich was, a little ambivalent on it.
Yeah, he was like, I want stuff for the students, but I mean, how are we going to eliminate it and make it, I guess, plausible for the PD to be able to enforce? I mean, it's gonna be kind of tricky, you know, you could put no truck parking. What does that entail? Does that entail you know, an F-150? So I guess it becomes, I don't want to confuse. I want to make it very clear.
What happens if we turned around and allowed the parking only based on your minimum visual triangles here? So those areas in blue could be parked, but only say from 5 AM to 5 PM or something. So in other words, you'd eliminate any potential problems at night if we've got trucks or anybody else abusing the system, and still allow the kids to have a couple of parking spaces.
Yeah, and that, I guess you could make the argument of, well, overnight parking in winter was not allowed, but they weren't ticketed. I guess it becomes an enforcement issue that Chief Stecker would have to weigh in on. Clearly, they weren't ticketing them through the winter, and they said they weren't. And that's part of our ordinance, is that you're not allowed to park overnight.
Then we're our own worst enemy.
Yeah, and I guess that, you know, that's one of those cases where, that's why we're bringing it forward. I guess it's more of I guess it's a good discussion to have, is, you know, there are that possibilities of providing times on it, and maybe that makes it more enforceable, and we can go from there and see how that progresses.
Yeah, we can toll.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I guess it's one of those points, Dale, that, you know, there's a starting point. Does it work? Well, no, if it's not working, well, then let's come back and discuss it further and see what we need to do. But yes, I think as far as vision, we're definitely going to want to try to adhere to what we're providing here, maybe even eliminate certain ones, like, you know, section 1 and 2, that you can fit one car. What's the point? And to me, 1 fitting 3 right at the intersection, well, that kind of, you know, I don't know if that's even going to be good or valuable at all, other than a semi parking right there. And I don't think we want a semi parking there. So I guess we're open to ideas.
I'm just trying to be, I mean, we systematically tried to eliminate parking on the north side of the neighborhood there in the day, and
Well, we did that based on like 8 to 10 in the morning, no parking. And that did seem to, I mean, that does work. When you drive down Groveland, the north side of the parking, or the north side of Groveland,
I understand, but the fact that we have a high school there with over 2,000 people attending, it is what it is.
No, and I agree.
So you know, you just gotta find some kind of medium area you can cooperatively operate in, so.
And it's fine. I mean,
I'm not,
if we put it where, you know, no parking, or no parking after, you know.
well, I just envision at some point, unless you do something, you're gonna have these trucks parked here in the library, so.
Well, you will, for sure. So I mean, is it something,
At night, that's the deal, that hours of the day seem like, you see those kind of signs everywhere, there's parking zone restrictions, everywhere.
Yeah. No. And I mean, that's a compromise and it's something that
I
we
guess
can.
with these trucks, you know, they're different fluids and stuff, I mean, I gotta ruin the road pretty quick.
It looks pretty bad when you drive it, if you just take a look. Yeah. And I just noticed that really kind of yesterday because I drove it again.
But, coming out of the post office driveway and looking north, you are, especially during the day, you are,
It's different.
that's the one spot you need to be really concerned about, is the stuff on the west side of the road, looking north.
You know, and in all honesty and fairness, I did actually pull out of the post office, you know, a month or two ago. And one of the trucks was probably pulled very close to where our blue line is. And I was able, when I pulled out just a little bit, I was able to see to an adequate point to where I could identify whether I safely could pull and go left. So, I mean, this does play true to what's out there and how, and, you know, in all honesty too, coming out of the post office, it's passenger cars. You know, they're a little easier to maneuver and a little quicker. So, this is probably conservative and
That's the
safe.
rich guys' complaints from us. Safety issue there.
Yes. There was a safety issue with trucks parking close to the post office. Yep. That's where this all stemmed from. And then we just decided, well, let's look at the entire section. Let's get it based on vision.
Now, what if we just posted the west side of Mayhew from Century or the Pick and Save entrance to, you know, the post office?
I mean, that's that's the option.
Because that seems to be the major problem. I've noticed, you know, pulling out of even Century, trying to go south, you know, from Pick and Save on their entrance. And also we agreed with the post office.
There's trucks parked there 24 hours a day, all day.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be. And that has progressively gotten worse.
Those folks have the minimum hours of operation.
Well, they're
Sleep at some point, right?
they're living,
Yeah.
I mean, they're living in
So
the
that's
apartments.
the time they're off and it's parked there the day. So I think that maybe the hours operate, or hours of restricted hours, maybe, not gonna solve the problem. So maybe that means where it's just a, Pick and Save driveway south of it, completely. What do you guys think? Bobby, got a thought?
I think you have to maintain the student parking there, because there's always gonna be kids, no matter how much room you make in the lots at the school, that aren't gonna pay for that permit. And if you close parking on Mayhew, you're just gonna push them elsewhere. And where that ends up being, does that become a new safety hazard that you've already solved on Putes for kids parking on Mayhew? So now we've just created the same problem elsewhere that we've already solved supposedly. So, you know, to punish the kids based on these trucks that are parking by the post office causing the problem, I think it's not fair really to them. That's not the problem. The cars that are parked along there, you know, maybe it helps to do only one side parking, even for students, because it does get a little congested in there two ways with both sides being parked up. But if we could do no overnight parking near the post office and restrict it to one side for the students, I think that's a great compromise. I mean, park and ride lots, you can't park overnight. They've got no overnight parking restrictions for the same reason. They don't want trucks parked overnight with guys sleeping in their cabs. So I think we do the same thing there. And I'm surprised there isn't any sort of city ordinance that restricts parking of unattended trailers on the road, semi-trailers.
There is unattended trailers.
Okay,
I don't believe
because
you
I've seen
can, I don't
trailers
believe you
out there.
can park trailers on it. You know, if it's not hooked up to your tractor.
Yeah.
Legally,
Yeah, through our code.
legally.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously UPS violates that all year round.
Right, and that's, I mean, that's the bigger issue as we move forward. I mean, it's one of the things we've been asked to look
Sixth
at.
Street is full of.
Right.
empty trailers, so the north side, so.
So, I mean, I guess it's, in sense, I do agree, you know, I understand everyone's point of view on this, and that's why we're open, you know, do we look at it and say no semi-parking?
Did I hear, was there a restriction in that, because it's authorized truck route?
It's authorized truck route to the exit of Pick and Save, Century Foods.
From the north? Is it a truck?
Nope, nope, from that point to Pewitz Road, it's not a truck route. So from that entrance, that back entrance where the semis come to the south to Centennial over to Howell, that is all a truck route.
So does that impact us at all or limit us or not?
We just keep it a truck route, there's no parking for semis. I mean, we're not limiting their ability to still deliver their product there on that truck route. We're not changing the truck routes.
Okay. So why don't we why is it not just no truck park?
We'll clarify truck.
Well, it's pretty obvious that, we're not talking panel trucks. We're talking folks who are weighing 18-wheelers here.
No, and I agree with that, but that's,
Well,
to me,
whatever.
yeah. I guess we could probably try to clarify,
We have restrictions in an open road and.
semi trucks, or we could try to get a little bit more, I guess.
Well, we gotta enforce it, otherwise.
That's gonna be the issue.
That's Dave's problem.
Yeah.
Well, you may choose not to, but that's.
We could, if you guys wanna give me the direction, or wants to give me the direction to, limit truck parking, then we'll put together, we'll put together something that's just eliminates truck parking from
But that seems to be the issue to me.
I think we can get the fire department to turn around and get some exercise, walk across the street and do the ticketing for the PD if they don't want to do it.
Do they get to keep the proceeds?
Yeah, I think that'd be fair.
No,
They get more money for their Medicare.
you're always thinking, Bill.
So from what I'm hearing is, we're interested in trying to keep parking for the students. But we also want to kind of maintain this vision portion of it and eliminate the ability for trucks to park is what I'm kind of understanding, right?
Yeah.
Do we want to eliminate that 2 and 1 and maybe try to keep, keep the parking on one side to make it more continuous and easier to deal with, like Bob had mentioned?
Would it help the trucks exiting from Pick and Save to get back onto Mayhew to go to Centennial if we didn't have parking on the east side of Mayhew during the day? That seems like a tight radius to turn, especially the way the students park close to the driveways and that. That if we just eliminate parking on the entire east side.
Yeah, the east side does have the water main also, so there is some, things that limit the amount of parking you have on the east side.
Just make the whole east side no parking, leave the west side with no overnight parking, and then pick a distance from the post office driveway to the north, that's just the total no parking zone because of the sight line.
Yeah.
And that kind of eliminates the
semis.
trucks at that point.
Yeah.
No semis?
We can come up with something that's no overnight parking and.
I think if you get rid of the overnight,
Yeah, there you go.
it kind of keeps them away because they're not parking there while they're going to a restaurant or something.
So they are parked there during the day when
They are parked there during the day, but they're also parked there on overnight.
and on the weekend.
They're,
That's a citywide issue we gotta deal with that.
Yeah, why don't we hold this item and give Matt a chance to review it and take a look at it?
I can go with your recommendation right now. That's not a
Okay.
difficult one. We can definitely go with what I suggest is that we hold that point. Or I guess, do you want me to look at here, if we're gonna eliminate semi-parking or try to eliminate truck parking, we can revamp this for more of a passenger car style. But our vision doesn't change. Your vision never
Right.
changes. So
Right.
the locations of parking here is pretty much, gonna be continuous. We can probably allow more parking on the west side up along that curve if we eliminate everything on the east side, simply because it does provide us with a little bit more flexibility and safe room to maneuver. So we can definitely look at that and try to extend that a little bit more and just kind of keep everything on the east side, eliminate truck parking or eliminate overnight parking. I guess that's the only clarification I would need is it overnight or is it no semis or no semi parking?
I would go with no semi-truck.
Because trying to do both on the one sign might be a convoluted message that I want to make it short, sweet, and simple.
I'm in the, just no semi-parking from, say, driving south.
Whatever works.
Right,
I mean,
You do
can
like
always
Chi-
fix this stuff.
Do like Chicago and have about 4 signs here that contradict each other, make no sense.
And then don't park anyway,
Yeah.
during the day, with the flashers on, I'm good.
So on the east side, I'll just eliminate all the parking on the west side from the south.
I'm not sure like where you're focused on the east side, man, but if you feel that,
Well, I guess that was just brought up by Bob, but
you feel that,
if you guys want me to
I
keep
think it
it,
just, it does.
I mean, you're talking about 3, 4 stalls here,
yeah, but if you're,
and no one probably parks down near on the intersection, right?
they do, but vision wise, if you really want to get down to the vision, this is what vision wise is allowed.
Okay. As long as the no trucks on each side, I'm good.
Or we can just do it as a no truck, pull it back from the post office and just be done with it.
right. It's a good.
No
point.
truck parking from that whole section.
Sounds really good.
Just put no truck parking.
Yeah,
That's it. Easy to enforce.
We can do that and work
make
with
it no truck parking and
no
be done.
truck parking. I can tighten them up just a little bit by the post office. I'll work with DPW as far as the language on the signs and making sure that we have very clear limits of where parking and no semi parking is. I mean, there's. could be-
We're gonna go somewhere else, I'm gonna sit down, we'll figure it out pretty shortly.
And that, you know, if it continues to be an issue, we can always bring it back and discuss it more.
Yeah.
But I think we should start with
It'll
one
cost
solution.
you pork chops.
Yeah, I think I can take you out, and get your pork chop sandwich. I guess It's better to start with one solution now, and let's just start working towards a final solution if we need to go further.
Fast, be tweak.
Yep. We're open for that. So I guess the motion would be to, no semi parking on Mayhew.
So moved.
And I'll second it,
And you second it?
right?
That's the whole way, man, or, is that what you're saying?
Yep, I'll just do it all the way.
Motion, roll call.
Feel that,
Guzekowski, aye.
Richards, I.
Secret eye.
Sigali, aye.
where are they gonna go with this walking distance, Centennial Place, right? So,
They have people picking them up in cars, so I think they can find a spot. I watched it happen multiple times.
Is parking allowed on Centennial?
It's not allowed from Mayhew over, no. Okay, we eliminated that. Before everyone's gone, I just wanted to introduce our new design engineer. Andrew Ledger, right here, just started on Monday this week, so.
Hi, Andrew.
We have a new design engineer. He came from Wauwatosa, 5 years there and another 5 or 6 years at the Department of Transportation, so he has a good, vast experience, so. Good.
Pork chop sandwiches for everybody.
And he does live in Oak Creek, so.
there you go.
Another engineer out of Oak Creek, so we're doing better in that category. We continue to hire people from in Oak Creek, so.
That's awesome.
He will be, as we move forward, he'll be sitting in on this board more often with these items.
Good.
Sausage making.
Yep, that's right. Gotta learn somewhere, right?
Oh, we gotta adjourn.
Oh, yes, we got motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second,
Roll call.
Gales, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Richards, I.
Secret eye.
Sigali, aye.
Here we go.
Can I have the record reflect that my stuff was shorter?
For once.